Hello, we're here to talk about the custom investment type enhancements that are coming as part of Clarity 16.0.0. As part of this release, the following has been enhanced in regards to custom investment types. There is a new flag called template for managing and defining templates in custom investment types. We have new access rights for custom investment types. We have the ability to create a new custom investment type from templates, or I should say ability to create new investment type instance from templates. And we have the ability to define blueprint specific required fields for custom investment types. This is important because customers that have been defining their own investment types want to continue to enhance its functionality to work similar to projects. They want to be able to define templates. They want to be able to create new instances of custom investment types based on templates, as well as define required attributes. So based on all of those different feedbacks, we are making that functionality available starting 16.0.0. So first change that's coming is the new template flag. As part of this release, when you go to the custom investment types, you will see two new flags. The first one is going to be called template, and it's a Boolean flag that allows you to mark a specific instance of custom investment types as template. And the second is originating template, which will then have a value of the original template where this specific template was copied, or the specific instance was copied from, when you're creating a new instance from an existing template instance. The template attribute can be used to define the CIT instance as a template. So that's where you can mark an existing one or create a new instance and flag it as a template. When a new CIT is created from template, the originating template value is populated. And we do support field level security for these two new flags. There is a new access right that is being introduced in this release. This access right will be added to every custom investment type objects that are there in the system. The access right will be the CIT name followed by create from template. That's a new one that you can assign to existing users or user group. Users that have that new access right will be able to see the new from template button on the screen. This new button will allow them to then create a new instance from a template. The existing right that was already there, which is the CIT name followed by create, can still be used to create a new instance using the plus sign, or in the board view, creating using the new card. The flow to create a new CIT instance from template is very similar to project, where based on your access right, you would see this new button. Clicking on the button will have a modal that will come up with the list of templates. The list of templates will be read only, and you can see them in a grid view as well as with the detail flyout. You can add any columns to see additional data. Once you select one of the template, and you have to select at least one, then the next button is enabled, and clicking on that will give you the next screen, which would be the create from template screen as defined in the blueprint for your template. Once all the data is populated, the create button will then become enabled, and you can click on that to create a new instance from the template. Creating of the new instance will copy the risk, issues, changes, financial cost plans, benefit plans, staff, task, assignments, and links from the template. You can also define blueprint-specific required fields. The ability to define the blueprint required fields works in the similar manner as projects, where you would create a business rule. The business rule will have the condition of always true, and then you can define the list of required attributes with any number of attributes. And then anytime a project is anytime a CIT is created using this blueprint, those attributes will then be made required for that specific instance. The blueprint specific required fields in the create from template model, that you can define them. The blueprint required attributes will require a value to be populated at the time the CIT creation happens. Um, the way this will work is very similar to projects, such that if you have a studio defined attribute and that attribute is required in the studio, or if that attribute is defined in the blueprint, then that attribute will automatically be appended to your create model if a default value is not populated either in the template or in the studio. The attributes defined as required or blueprint required will be enforced in create modal, properties, flyout, and the grid layout. And all required values will have an asterisk next to them in the create modal only. All right, with that, let's see the product in action. So here I am in Clarity 16.0.0. The first thing I'm going to do is go into the administration side and show you the new access type. So I have a custom investment type created called contracts. I'm going to search for the create access that is there for this specific CIT. And you can see the contracts create. This was available in all the releases when a CIT object is created. But the new access right is the contracts create from template. This is the right that allows me to see the new from template button. Right. Next, I am going to go into my modern UX administration, and I'm going to show you the business rules for the contract CIT itself. So right here as the default one, so right here, when I go into my modern UX administration, I'm going to go into blueprints. And when I go into the contract default blueprints, you can see that there is a new tab available called create from template. This is where I can define the fields that I want to be displayed to my end user when a new contract is created using this specific blueprint. I can also look at the rules that can be created, and within the rules, there are required fields that have been predefined using the always true option. And the required field in my case for default, I always want the goal to be populated. I can create similar rules for other blueprints for my same contract. So if I have a contract that is of high priority, then I want to make sure there are additional fields that should be required. So I can go into my required fields, and for a high priority one, I want the corporate priority, regulatory compliance, and goal as the required field that should be populated. And the create from template screen, I have the corporate priority and additional field that is added to my create screen. And finally, if I'm creating a contract with a very high priority, then I want even more fields to be populated, which is all the priority, the architectural priority, and so on. And in this case, I have the similar create screen with the goal and the corporate priority. All right, so let's see these rules in action. Let's go into the custom investment type. Let's go to the contracts itself. And the first thing we want to do is to see the new flags. For that, I'm going to change my view to the templates view, where I'm only filtering to show me the templates that are there in my CIT. Here is the new flag, and as you can see that because it's filtered for just showing me the templates, you can see the values checked for all of those. And when I search, here are the two new fields, template and originating template, that I can include to see those values in my grid view. All right, now let's go ahead and create some new contracts and see the behavior. Again, by default, for those that have used this type of functionality in project, should expect to see it working exactly the same. Because I've granted myself the ability to create from template, I see this new button right here, create from template. Clicking on that, I get the list of the templates that are available to me. The first one that I will try to create is the default one, where the corporate priority is low. When I do that, it comes up with the new model create screen with just the goal as the required, and that is pre-populated in my template, so the value has automatically been populated right here. This is what was defined in my create from template. So I'm showing you the blueprint now to show you that it's exactly the same with the fields that were being included. If I create a new one as a high priority, in this case, my create modal looks different, and you can see that the corporate priority is the new field that is added. And in addition, there is also another blueprint specific field called regulatory compliance. This field was not in my create modal, but because no default value was found in the template or in the studio, this automatically got added. You can cross check that. If I go into my blueprint for high priority contract, you can see that the regulatory compliance was not in this create modal screen, but it got added because it was a required field and no default value populated. And finally, I'll just do the same for a very high, just to display how that works, is with additional fields. So now I'm going to create, in this case, the architectural fit and regulatory compliant value were both automatically added to my create modal, because both of those were required and no default value was found. So now I'm displaying the blueprint for very high priority, and as you can see, those two fields were not in my create modal, so they were automatically appended because they were required and no default value was found. That concludes this section. Thank you, everyone.